What people largely remember about your tenure in Kano State is the Kwankwaso movement, which had like almost a cult-like following. People wearing white and red to identify with that movement. In fact, we're told entire sections of the city were painted in the colors of Kwankwaso. And there's a fear that if indeed you are able to get to the national level, perhaps people will have to identify with that movement to be able to get close to you or to even be able to identify with your government. How would you respond to fears like that?
Now, you see, the Kwankwaso started many years ago, of course, in Kano, and those of us who are members believe that Malam Amin Kano, of blessed memory, has done so much in his days as a politician in terms of supporting and assisting people who were in need. I mean, people who are very old, who are very sick, very young people, the talakawas, people who cannot help themselves, and so on. And therefore, we sat down and we took that direction politically, and that is what we have been working on. And the colors we mentioned were the colors of Aminu Kano in those days: red cap, white gown, and of course, black shoe. And even when he was putting suit, like I'm putting now, you find white shirt, red necktie, and of course black suit. And it's just the color, and coincidentally the color of PRP in those days. And we started working from my ward to the local government, to the state, now by the grace of God across the country.
Is it a movement you think will have mass appeal across the country?
Of course.
In the different parts of the country?
It has already got mass appeal. You go around Abuja, you go around your state, go across the country, go to any
You mean if I go
park.
to Lagos today?
Everywhere.
I would see people who will be, you know,
certainly, you will see them.
Not people from the north who happen to live in Lagos, but people who are originally from Lagos buying into the Kwankwaso movement?
Certainly, if you go to Lagos and any other state in this country, you find people wearing our colors, but that is not the issue. The issue is even that the vast majority of Kwankwaso members don't put any of our colors. They keep it in their chests. And that is why you have hundreds of thousands of our supporters in almost all the states of the Federation.
Senator, let's not gloss over some of the important issues that you currently even face in the Senate. You know and you're aware among senators that there's usually some distrust between senators from the north, or let me not use senators, let me say from the political elite in the north and the political elite in the south. There are those who believe that the political elite in the north hold the cords of progress of the country, and that the manner in which the country has been structured, if the North doesn't concede or let go of certain privileges, the country will not move forward. And as such, there's usually some distrust, especially when members are speaking on certain issues. How do you think issues like that can be addressed, the issue of distrust?
Well, I think that can be addressed when you have good leadership at the highest level, when we have leadership with enough capacity to handle all those issues. But you have to remember that in politics, people are looking around to take an advantage. Sometimes it's good for the country, and sometimes may not be even in the best interest of the country. Anybody who is accusing one section of the country, or even accusing one group or one religion, I mean, there must be reasons for that. And some of these reasons could be selfish. And as far as I'm concerned, all these issues have to boil down to the issue and the capacity of the leadership at all levels.
The leadership on whose part? I mean, for instance, would you say it's the leadership in the National Assembly or the leadership at the executive arm of government?
I believe they are interconnected. If you have good leadership and powerful leadership at the executive arm of government, definitely it will have an impact in the relationship between that executive arm of government and the other two arms of government. But if the executive arm has got some challenges, or especially of that of weakness, I can tell you that it will affect the relationship of the arms of the government.
Distinguished, we've rarely heard your voice on some of the controversial national issues, such as restructuring, such as resource control, such as state police. Where do you stand on some of these issues?
Well, you see, as a Democrat, we always listen to the people. And that's why leadership is there. Listen to the people, understand them, study the situation itself. And of course, you have to go there with an open mind. For me, I have absolutely no problem with restructuring, especially if it will bring the positive benefit to the people of this country. If you ask many people, I've been going around the country, I met so many people, especially those who are agitating for restructuring. I always ask them if we have time. What do you mean by restructuring? Because you have to define it before you even start thinking of how to tackle it. Some will say, look, we want to go back to parliamentary system, which we started in 1960. This presidential system is not working. Someone will say it's too expensive for this country. Some will talk about resource control. Some will want to control their resources and probably pay some certain amount to federal corpus, like it is obtained in some other parts of the world. Some will say devolution of power. We want take some level of responsibilities of the federal government, send it down to the states and local governments, and of course match it with the resources so that they can handle it at that level. So you can go on and on and on. Some will even say merge states. Some of them are not, viable, and therefore merge them together. Some will say we want additional state, or we want additional states. So it all depends on who you ask. But I can tell you, as somebody who participated in the Constitutional Conference of 94-95, when we worked on all these issues, we had our views, we put them together and forwarded it to the then military of General Sani Abacha. And from there, many of our recommendations were picked and utilized in the 1999 Constitution. All these views were there, and all views will continue to be there. And as far as I'm concerned, no constitution in this world that is perfect. It all needs review from time to time to make sure that it tallies with the situation as it is on the ground. And life is always dynamic.
Well, we have to take a break at this point. When we return, I mean, you have said that you believe in restructuring. The question is, what parts of restructuring? I mean, which one of the definitions of restructuring does Senator Kwankwaso believe in? In a moment, please stay with us.